Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Take a Shot with Emem Joy Emah. I am your girl, your host, Emem Joy Emah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you are listening to today's episode, I hope you're listening with some love, some joy, some hope, some peace. If you're not, well, you already know the drill. I am sending that your way right about now. Well, hello. I hope you're doing well. As always, I hope today's episode is catching you in really good spirits. And if it is not, I completely understand. I say that I understand because of the unfortunate school shooting. Not even just school shooting, but unfortunate shooting that has shootings that have been happening in the span of a week at a church, at a grocery store, two babies in elementary school. It's been a lot. Um, yeah, it's been a lot, honestly. And y'all, I feel like I always say this, but I didn't even want to do this episode, like, because I was like, Jesus, like, what could there be to say about something like this? Like, it's heinous, it's evil, it's enough is enough. Like, the sentiments I think are echoed by everyone when we say, like, like, enough. And so I was like, I just, what else could be added to this conversation that hasn't already been said? And so when I first heard about it, the thing that I do, I would go to the first thing I know to do, right? I go to the first thing I know to do, which is to pray. And I mean, to really honestly share how I felt towards the whole thing, like, when is enough? Why does this keep happening? Why is it that it keeps happening here over and over and over again? And like, why? You know? And of course, lifting the families up and lifting the loved ones up that are going through this, because I could not imagine sending your child, oh, Jesus, sending your child to school thinking like, this is a normal day. We're going to go to school. We're going to, do what you do or whatever. And then we're going to come back home. You're going to do your homework. We're going to have dinner, whatever the routine. We're going to go through our routine. And, today is another day. Only to kiss your baby goodbye, to never see them again. And then to follow, because I was following just what was going on, to read how long the police were out there and to hear the cries of parents, watching the videos and hear the cries of parents as they're like begging police and literally fighting police to go into the building and save their children. Ooh. So whether it be getting up and saying, I'm running to the grocery store real quick. I need some chicken for my rice. And I'm going to go to the grocery store. And that be the last time. Because somebody got up and got a gun and it's, or I want to go to church. I mean, these are activities that is not abnormal, right? I want to go to church and I want to go worship in house of worship. And somebody come up in there and tear the place up. Like, this is crazy. And these are activities that we all do. We all go to the store. But a good number of us all go to a place of worship. A good number of us, I'm an educator. So I go, that's my job. I get up and go to work. And so the thought of it just, oh, anyway. So like I said, I didn't know what I wanted to bring to this conversation. I didn't know what I wanted to bring. So I went, like I said, and I, been praying and just praying for the loved ones and praying the best that I know how to pray, and asking for comfort and asking why, and all, and literally processing this out in prayer. And as I was praying, and not only that, but like on social media, and just looking for updates, and looking at what other people were saying, and how, because I like to do that and just grieve, and look at the conversations of what people are saying around this. Something that a lot of people I was finding a lot of people say was, I'm tired of the prayers. And on the one end, I can empathize with that, because it can feel like, when is change actually gonna happen? You know, when is change actually gonna come, right? And so it can feel like we want change. I'm tired of the prayers. I'm tired of the, you know, of the thoughts and prayers. Like, I want change. And so I understood that, and I was like, I get that. But on the other hand, now more than ever, even though it feels like that, and it's frustrating and painful and hard, and the questions are valid. The questions of, what do we do now? We've prayed. What's next? What do we do? I just want to say, now is not the time. Now. Now is not the time to stop praying. Now is not the time to stop praying. More than ever. More than ever. Now is not the time to stop praying. In order to know what to do, right? Because we can sit here and we can deliberate, and we can come up with ideas on how to move, and some of it is absolutely correct. There needs to be stricter laws on gun control in this country. Like, it is I do not understand, to be perfectly honest, why this individual was able to, the minute he turned 18, was able to access a gun, and the specific type of gun, the minute he turned 18, so easily and legally. So yeah, gun control. Yeah, no, that's not even a debate. Period. That it should not be that easy. And so there are things that we can agree on, but also the Bible talks about God's ways are higher than our ways, and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. And he has ways that we don't know. And it could be that some of us are called to pray, and God wants to give us strategy and wisdom on how to bring about change. Because we keep saying, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And we know gun control. We know that. We know to push for that. We know to fight for that. But also in prayer, in the place of prayer, is where God can give us, like, outside of that, like outside of people sending petitions and we signing that. It can also, I know for me, it can feel like, okay, now what else? You know what I'm saying? Like, now what else do we do? Okay. And as you pray, God begins to show you, in this hour, in this dark, dark, demonic time, this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to do. And you doing this is going to bring about change in your community, in your sphere of influence, on a larger scale, whatever. But God is the one that directs our path. and gives us wisdom on what to do. But when you don't pray, you are moving to your own understanding, and your understanding is limited. It is limited. The Bible talks about how we only know in part. It is limited. God sees all and he knows all, even when we see and we don't understand. And not only that, processing with God, because you could have the question of why is this happening? And there could be frustration and even anger at God. Like, what is going on? I don't want to pray because I feel like we've been praying and nothing's been happening. What, like, really, what is going on? Keep praying. I love Psalms because David is really good. He wrote most of the Psalms and he's really good at Psalms, Lamentations. There are books in the Bible of people just grieving before God. And it is okay to take your questions, your whys, your cries. There are times when we don't even know what to pray, but our cries become prayers and they become offerings to God. And because you don't even know the words anymore, so you are just crying and screaming, and that and groaning, and that is a prayer. And God hears that, and he knows how to interpret what your heart or your mouth cannot seem to utter. But now is not the time to abandon what you know. Especially, look, this is such a crazy time. You need something that is going to stabilize you in these times, y'all. Like, you need something that is going to bring you back to center. You need a place to run where you can get real peace. Real peace in the midst of chaos. Real peace. And y'all, it's looking real chaotic. Real chaotic. It's been chaotic for a while and it hasn't let up. People talk about, 2020 was crazy. I don't know about y'all, but it ain't let up. And so it's like, to abandon prayer, sometimes it's praying through faith. Like, I don't know, but this is all I've ever known. So God, if all I can say is help, if all I can cry is help. The Bible says, I lift up my eyes to the hills from where my help comes from. My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. My help. Like, I don't know what else to do, And so if it's processing that way through God, if it's saying, God, we need wisdom on how to move. So it's not this or prayer. It's prayer and. It's pray and go. Pray, wait for instruction and go. You know what I'm saying? Pray and believe that God is going to impress upon your heart what he's requiring you to do at this time. And what he's going to require you to do is going to be different than what he requires somebody else to do. Also, sometimes what he's going to require you to do will look, sometimes it will not look glamorous or sexy or what you should be doing, right? It would look foolish to some people because it's like, why are you doing that? For some, he might say, I need you to pray and continue to pray. I need you on your knees to keep praying, to literally watch what's going on. And every time you see what's going on, go back and pray. And to other people that be like, all that person does, all he does, all she does is pray. Again, go back to who you are, y'all. The Bible says the prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. The prayer of a righteous person, and if you're a believer, you've given your life to Jesus, your prayer is powerful and effective. And so if God is saying, I'm calling you to watch and pray, a lot of people would say, see, you're the problem. You're the problem right there. You're not doing anything. All you're doing is praying. Meanwhile, you know that God is calling you to pray, and just pray. It might be that. It might be God's calling you to pray, and then he gives you specific instructions that look nothing like what society thinks you should be doing at this time. But God has a way, and God knows what's going to bring change. And so he knows what's going to spark change. He knows what's going to ignite change. He knows what's going to be that domino effect. He knows what's going to bring change in your sphere of influence. He knows. And so you're not looking to the left or the right for permission, right? I'm not saying you don't have accountability, but you have accountability with faith, people of faith who also walk with God, who also know God speaks, because he does. That's another conversation for another day, y'all. But God speaks, and are able to, like pray with you and lift you up, and y'all are able to pray for one another during these times. There's that. But, you're careful, and you're even led in who you're sharing what he's called you to, because he's called you to it, not somebody else. And so I guess my whole thing is, we don't stop praying. Now is not the time. And I know that's a lot of people's sentiment, and I understand it. I get it. But we cannot stop praying. We cannot stop praying. Even through the tears, even through the not understanding, even through the anger, even through the frustration, we cannot stop praying. We cannot stop spending time with God. We cannot stop praying. We cannot stop doing what we know to do in this time. It is too dark. And it is too dark. And to walk away from the light, at this time is too dangerous, because you don't know what you're walking into. You have no clue what you're walking into. And the enemy's job is to steal, kill, and destroy you, because you are a child of God. You look like God, and that angers him. He hates you, and that angers him. And so you are to stay in the light. If you're struggling, reach out. Ask somebody to pray for you. Tell God, I'm struggling. I need help. I want to stay in the light, but frankly, I don't even know how at this point. And I promise you, God hears your prayer, listens to your cry, and will help you when you seek him, when you cry out to him. But now is not the time to stop praying. Now is not the time. And so I just wanted to come on here and share that thought. I hope you're doing well. If you're not, I pray things get better. Know that God is with you. Know that God is for you. Know that God is not angry with you. And know that God will help you. Know that God is real. Know that God is not sitting on his throne and just looking and no. Know that God cries when you cry. He weeps when you weep. That he understands what you're going through. That he sees and he understands. And that he is angered by what's going on. That it's not like he's like, no, he's angered by what's going on. Because people are dying before their time. This is ridiculous. He sees and he understands. Please know that. Don't give up, okay? Don't give up. All right, y'all. That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. As always, I love you and I appreciate you. If you enjoyed today's episode, that's odd to say that about today's episode, but if today's episode blessed you in any way, then go ahead and share it with your friends, your family, whoever you feel needs to. And hopefully it blesses them too. And then also, we got merch, so make sure you grab your loved merch and wear who you are at shoptakeashot.com. If you have thoughts and you just want to share your thoughts or engage, you can follow. We're on TikTok, Take a Shot Podcast, on Instagram, Take a Shot Podcast, and on email, via email at takeashotpodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you like, if you're on YouTube and you're watching this, please like and subscribe and share the video. If you are on Spotify and or Apple Podcast and you're listening, then please follow the podcast and review the podcast as well. When you give it your rating and review, it just lets others become more aware of this beautiful community that we are growing together. As always, I love you so much and I appreciate you. Thank you for listening, and I can't wait to talk to you in the next episode. Bye, guys.